Thank you, everyone. Let's go for it. So I will invite Dominique, Roger, and Nina just to join me in the stage, please. Let's go for it. We'll do it informally. I know there are member state representatives, but some of them have to take a flight. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so I will not introduce. I will not want to spend 10 minutes introducing each of them, but you can check that out on LinkedIn. So again, Dominique, Nina, Roger, thank you for being here. I think we're really lucky to have 3 sitting members of the supervisory board of the IPCEI here to explain also the perspective from the member states. And you know, the IPCEI cloud. It's a mechanism that's led by member states. It has obviously a lot of support from the Commission, from DG, in this case, DG Connect and DG Competition. But it's actually these guys that who take the decisions among the other member states. So I think for us, we discuss a lot from the industry perspective, how we use this funding, how we collaborate, how we develop technologies together. And this panel is to know the other side of the project, what they actually expect from us, and why they're actually doing what they do. Because I know for a fact that it's a lot of work also for them personally. So yeah, I'm going to start with that first point. So everyone that's involved in the IPCEI or has read something about the IPCEI, you might already figure out that there is a lot of paperwork, right? Either as a company or as a member state, there's a lot of paperwork and reports to do and all that stuff. My first question for you guys is why, first of all, why your specific countries decided to join this IPCEI on cloud, and why you guys personally decided to also take this role, which is, I assume, also a lot of work for you personally. So let's go for it, Dominique.
Okay. So perhaps you would like to hear the answer about the shared vision of the IPCEI, but I think the 2 decisive factors in the case of Poland to engage in this initiative were, first of all, that we had funding available for the projects. We funded projects under the RRF initiative, RRF program. And the second one was very strong interest from our country's cloud industry. And this interest was so significant that we, during the consultation phase, we received very good projects. And as we know, 5 of them materialized into projects that are currently up and running. So if you are asking me why I personally engaged in it, I saw it as a very innovative initiative that I can learn a lot from and see actually what is on the forefront of the cloud innovation.
Okay. Starting with the IPCEI in Slovenia was a quite demanding process. We were not very familiar. When we entered into IPCEI CIS, it was the first IPCEI ever started in Slovenia. We had also funding available, but it was not the only motive. The motive was more, and I'm also impressed of a previous panel because the same way of thinking we also had. To make our companies visible, to make the innovations that are being developed in Slovenia more visible, to make them or to enable them access to partners on the European level, access to market, and to have the common development of some common European infrastructure and services based on cloud and the different technologies too. The other motive, and we are doing now for many years recently, we are facing the fact that we have a lot of traditional industry, even within IT sector. So how to transform that industry, how to make them think in the modern way. We also heard before how to how to approach to them. It's not only cultural issue that we have to face. It's also the easy way to the market. And IPCEI is not the easy way to the market. IPCEI is very complicated, but the result at the end of the day can be so value added so that it worth all of the time and energy and work to be invested in that kind of instrument. And I really very much welcome all the IPCEI instruments. Even CIS, okay, it was demanding, it took 2.5 years to be approved. But what we got from this, also I will again refer on the previous panel, the awareness that what is the market, what should be the approach to the market, what innovation do we need, what change of mind do we need, what shift from traditional models do we need to cope with the competition that is around us and within the other regions. This is a value added of IPCEI instrument. Yeah. Okay, and then for the Netherlands, we have a somewhat different story, I think. At first, we already faced a number of problems in our cloud market, so we received complaints already. Mm-hmm. So for us, there was a momentum of awareness. And secondly, and that I have to give the credits to one of my former colleagues. She was part of my team, and she really, how do you say, pushed for it. So she said, well, we should do something. And then she convinced the management. We talked to the minister, and then we all agreed that we should move forward, created the right political commitment for it, get budget allocated, and then we decided, okay, now we're going in. Of course, we could not have done that without a strong commitment from the Dutch cloud sector. So what we saw that my former colleague, she contacted the cloud sector up front. We had a lot of interest, and that actually gave us also the, the necessary pressure to continue and to push, because as my colleagues explained, it is quite a long and quite difficult process, also for the Netherlands. When it was our first IPCEI we were faced with. In fact, we joined 3 IPCEIs at the same time, so also for hydrogen and also for microelectronics, so we got a lot of work. And so far, I must say, I'm really surprised about the positive effects it has. Yeah, so to my opinion, it's even above expectations so far. Yeah.
Now, some of you, maybe you've heard me before defining the IPCEI as this kind of unique project. I mean, this is the largest open source project that we have in Europe right now, and because we've never really had so much money to do open source together, and there are mechanisms that is actually designed to promote collaboration, right? With its limitations and its challenges, but in theory, it's the mechanism to promote this collaborative innovation in Europe. And I think that's one of the biggest potential that the IPCEI cloud in this case brings is precisely forcing that collaboration, or encouraging, or motivating people to collaborate, right? It implied, maybe in a few years' time we will realize, it implied a unique political motivation, a unique political push, what I think we will realize in a few years' time, after the IPCEIs get some traction, the rest of the IPCEIs, how important that political commitment was at the beginning, and how important it is for the member states, in this case the 12 member states that are committed to the IPCEI cloud. And also, I have to say, at the personal level, the individual level of the people that are involved in this work in the different governments. I mean, I know from our side, for instance, the Spanish colleagues, but the number of hours and effort that the people from the different governments have put into this process is really great. To have this first exercise of collaboration led by member states to produce open source together in Europe for the first time. I mean, my second question for you guys is also, I mean, there are lots of expectations. So we've talked about them. You've mentioned, for instance, it goes beyond the expectations in some aspects. For me, I don't know if you guys agree, the potential of the IPCEI is to somehow break this kind of dichotomy that we suffer in Europe between the temptation in some member states to invest only on your local industry and the endless discussions about whether we should invest at European level on a champion, right? On a unique champion or single champion for competing against, for instance, hyperscalers. So in that sense, you guys know your national industries. How effective do you think the IPCEI in general as a mechanism is in really encouraging your national companies to go beyond your borders and actually engage in long-term collaboration and trust with other companies across the continent? Is it really the right mechanism, or there are some major challenges that should be addressed in the future, maybe?
Okay, I'm really a believer in IPCEI. I very much like the instrument because I think it's a snowball syndrome. So if you attract a small number, the first step, then the number grows when the companies see how many benefits they have from that collaboration. It was not easy task. I have to say that during Slovenian presidency, we had 2 matchmaking events, and the collaboration here in IPCEI starts with the matchmaking events. So the first one was online, and it was somehow easy to implement and to do. The second one was on site. This was after COVID lockdown. And it was the most demanding event I have ever done. So 6 work streams, different companies, different interests. The challenge was how to convince the companies, even if we have it in the IPCEI communication, that effective collaboration is something that is conditioned for participation of the companies in IPCEI. So how to convince even the competitors to start to collaborate. We know, okay, we are very aware about the fragmentation in Europe, but the fragmentation also means that every country has its own mobile operators, fixed telephone operators. So Draghi report told us very well where we are and where is US and China. But in any case, when you present that benefits of IPCEI, that we go beyond the state of the art, that we go in the way that even the competitors in Europe need to collaborate to invent something new, something more advanced that can give us that champion role in the global economy. It can be very beneficial. So yeah, definitely everyone who is engaged in that matchmaking, in that collaboration processes, I think is somehow a push to even more collaborate, even if this collaboration is not visible all the time everywhere. So the right things are being developed, are being communicated, and the solutions are being searched during the process of IPCEI development.
Yeah, maybe I could add to that of course, for this to receive state aid, it's essential that there is European collaboration, because otherwise DJ Comp would not, how do you say, approve it. What is interesting is that collaboration means something different for everybody. So what is so interesting is that also the Commission asked us that collaboration is not that you buy something from another company. No, it's you create mutual benefits. Yeah, there should be an advantage for 2 parties in a collaboration. That was already an eye-opener for many companies, because they never thought of that as a way of cooperation. And now we are moving on in the IPCEI, and people are promoting their own projects. And now you see that sometimes collaboration becomes, how do you say, a little bit difficult again, because every business, of course, also has its own interest. So what I think is that this IPCEI, this software IPCEI, is very unique. It's the first time that in the software sector, businesses are actually starting first step in working together. And that, of course, is not going to be very smooth, because it's a, how do you say, an adventure for all parties. But I think because the IPCEI gave us a dot on the, how do you say, dot on the horizon, or how do you say, a common goal, it makes it actually, how do you say, better. People understand each other better where you're moving. But still, it's cooperation is difficult. So I think the IPCEI, in fact, creates the first real collaboration ecosystem in Europe for the development of software. Yeah.
And like the word galvanizing effect, no? It has like the capacity, at least, or the potential to bring together people that were working separately, or maybe loose connections.
And I think the people that work now have experienced this, will use that also for future development. So if a new IPCEI comes along, or new European projects come along, people can use this experience. And of course, it's a process. We have many more steps to go. I mean, it's not the end phase. So when the IPCEI is finished, that does not mean there's an end to the collaboration. No, because we're making software, so that needs, how do you say, continuous improvement. Mm-hmm. So I think the IPCEI was a very good initiative for this collaboration.
I think I will somehow echo what Rogier said about the collaboration, because this is obvious that without IPCEI, this collaboration that we have will not be present, as IPCEI, it was a requirement for the companies to establish collaborations, and I know that Polish companies invest a lot in collaborating with their partners, and I know that they are having an active role in such a collaboration. Despite this, there were many problems with the partners, with some of the partners they have. Other collaborations are very fruitful for both parties. But I think the collaborations unfold in different ways. Some of them are very hard. They have different nature. And I think one of the reasons behind this is the need for future IPCEIs to refine this process of matchmaking. I think during the matchmaking phase, first of all, the companies didn't have a very clear vision of the purpose of the IPCEIs. Secondly, they were contributing their own projects and trying to find partnerships that fit into their projects. I think these were two elements that they decided that the collaborations are not such effective as we would expect from this IPCEI. But as Rogier said, I think we generally should be happy with the effect of the collaboration that were established during the IPCEI, and I think this event is also one of the fruits of this initiative, as I think the IPCEI is also a forum for the European cloud providers, not only to do business, but also to meet and discuss new regulations, new challenges, new ideas in more informal way, as we organized the General Assembly this year. But I see many faces also here, and I know that you meet also during other occasions. So I think this IPCEI also has this effect of creating not only new collaborations, but also a new forum for the exchange of ideas.
maybe I could add to that. What for me was an eye-opener is that the IPCEI also created collaboration in the Netherlands. So not only internationally, but also in the Netherlands, businesses were starting to talk to each other and with each other for the first time. So yeah, that's why it was beyond expectations, and it was also a very good way for the government to get into contact with the sector, because the sector has to really make clear what the problems were and where they were going, and providing a lot of information. So it creates also a relationship with the sector.
Quick question to the audience: how many IPCEI partners are here?
Oh, bravo.
Not bad, not bad. So you can expect some questions afterwards. I'm going to ask you, how do you feel this collaboration thing? Okay, so get ready. I mean, for me, I remember some stuff. I mean, obviously, the matchmaking happened during the COVID. That was interesting. So it's like member states telling you, yeah, come together. It's like, yeah, I mean, we cannot really. And then but then there are some beautiful anecdotes. I don't remember exactly who, but I remember one company coming and say at some point, you know what, before the IPCEI, I wasn't even allowed by my management to speak to my competitors. And now I found them in the IPCEI, so I'm forced, I actually have to speak to them. So it has really helped the companies in these stupid things, like they could not, if they meet their competitors in an event, speak to them. And now obviously they can do much more than speaking. Okay, so the IPCEI, most of you know that the IPCEI is like, in some way, and it has been criticized as well, it's a closed club, right? I mean, the member states had some funding, they go through a process of allocating this funding to direct participants after the communication from the Commission, authorization from the Commission, and then to the indirect partners through your some national budget allocation. And many companies outside of the IPCEI ecosystem, they feel neglected in some way. So it could be a reasonable feeling in many companies that why I'm not part of this, or how can I get part of this now? The conversation becomes more like that. Actually, some of those companies know, but many others don't know, that one of the main commitments in the companies that are part of the IPCEI is to bring these innovations and make them available to as many people as possible. And we have this interesting request to actually train our own competitors in the technologies that we are developing as part of the IPCEI, or give our competitors or anyone else in the market access to some of the infrastructures that are being funded by the IPCEI. So there are a lot of requirements in how this state aid has been allocated to make sure that other companies beyond the IPCEI club can benefit from what we're doing, including the competitors of those same companies. So my question for you is, within your member states, within your countries, you've mentioned, for instance, that the IPCEI is also helping to promote some connections and some more relationship within your national industries. But how are you feeling that there is a taste, especially in recent years, for European open source and sovereign technologies for cloud and edge? Do you see this demand growing in your respective member states beyond the IPCEI community? There is a taste for what we're doing.
Okay, let me kick off. Yeah, I see a lot of interest, especially business organizations. They want to know what the results are. I'm not going to give any names for business. Some individual businesses have come by to ask for results. So yeah, people are looking into that. The only thing is that, of course, because the IPCEI is now underway, I mean, not everything is finished yet. So it's difficult to actually show already concrete results to those organizations. In the Netherlands, one of the consortia, they had an event last year in which they actually gave a live demonstration of a cloud switch to, how do you say, they hopped from one to another with a push of a button, while staying online. And they had some media information, was coverage by a big newspaper and everything. So they were actually showing first results, and a lot of people were very enthusiastic about it. So I think as soon as the first really concrete results that actually provide multi-cloud, that switching, that gives the opportunity of cloud federation, I'm sure that many businesses will at once will try it. And as I mentioned, there is quite some interest, because in the Netherlands, the people feel actually problems in the cloud market. For example, the VMware case, everybody knows it probably over here, that actually everybody was looking for alternatives. This IPCEI may provide some alternatives for that situation. So, yeah.
Okay, in Slovenia, maybe to refer on your previous intervention, we have a special approach. We are somehow, when we start to communicate, when we get the companies that express the interest for participation on IPCEI, we start to have the communication with them so that we can help them to put the projects together, to make the consortiums, to make the compatible contents. For example, one is developing cloud solutions, the other is system operator, and the third is data space provider. So we put different solutions together and different levels of providers together, so that we can already get the project that can contribute to that integrated European project. This is the first. The second, I mentioned the snowball effect. So what I recognize now, when we have the second round of IPCEIs on digital, so AI and CIC, we have doubled interest for those new IPCEIs. Even the companies that were not participating now are realizing that there is a huge benefit if they collaborate with the European partners, if they collaborate on the national level, and also if they make that effective collaborations. The third thing you are asking, and we are all talking about open source today. Okay, here we need to be aware that we still do not have that federated, decentralized or distributed infrastructure in Europe. When we develop this infrastructure, then we can talk about the open source, right? So if we have 3 or 4 providers in Europe that could provide the open source, what can be the first? To invite them to collaborate with us in the IPCEI, and then to motivate the ecosystem to use the open source solutions, okay? This is one way of the matter, and the other is, do they need to be integrated now at this moment when the development is still ongoing, and afterwards go into more wider campaign to promote that open source approach. And the last thing is where we go with the innovation. So we know that hyperscalers are promoting open source approach, but limiting the participants or the companies that are interested to audit, to adopt their solutions, and to innovate upon already existing solutions. So our decision is, if we are going to motivate somebody to contribute to the solution, or to use the solution to develop itself and innovate for their own projects.
So, first of all, I would repeat once again what Roger said. The projects are still under development. However, in case of Poland, our projects have very ambitious schedule. All of them are to finish by August next year. So in case of direct partners, they are already, all of them are in the FID stage. And regarding the the traction they receive, I'm actually very positively surprised. And today we have representatives from Poland, and they were like sharing how it looks in their businesses regarding these projects. First of all, we have Kaja Svat from Phoenix Systems, who was showing me the demonstrations, how their operating systems are being implemented in the drones, how they are up and running and receiving a lot of interest from the Polish army. And but the drones that were yesterday are not the ones developed by the Phoenix Systems. Also, we have Paweł Masłowski from Octawave, who already told me about enormous interest in the solutions they develop that allow for the highly secure transmission of data that is, I would say, military grade and definitely beyond the state of the art. You heard today Stanisław Krzyżanowski from Cloudflare. They added a few new, they significantly expanded their offering. They added already new solutions to their portfolio, and they have already seen a big traction. So I also have from Gdańsk Tech, Piotr Orzechowski, who has 3 very concrete implementations of their solutions, and they can already show us the demos. So I think the interest in case of Polish companies in the solutions developed under the IPCEI SIS is very satisfactory. I think the money was well spent, and but also we as a public administration who decided to fund these projects will try to support and promote them further, and also we look how not only the sales goes, but also the spillover effects that they committed to will be delivered.
Maybe I would like to add to that of course in the IPCEI supervisory board, this is also one of the topics that we talk about, is about how to open up. Maybe it's interesting also for others to know that we, from the Netherlands, we facilitate that also. Next year, in the next General Assembly in March, March 19 and March 20 in Rotterdam, there will be the next General Assembly, and then on the Friday, that will be an open day in which all IPCEI participants and interested parties can, get to meet each other, look into the projects. Organizations can showcase their products, and that's a way to, to really see what the IPCEI delivers.
Yeah. So yeah, save the dates, because in the next General Assembly there will be this explicit effort to help other companies and organizations on board, and we have also Matthias from the Cicero, the IPCEI Exploitation Office, and that's one of the main responsibilities as well, to help to bring other companies and users to what we're doing. So one final question, and I will open the floor for your comments and experiences on collaboration. How do you understand that also beyond the IPCEI? But I mean, Nina, you've mentioned the infrastructure. We talk about we have a number of partners within the IPCEI that already provide, or that bring in their infrastructures to the project. We have telco operators that are deploying some edge nodes as well as part of the exercise they're doing to federate their offerings. But the reality is that the vast majority of infrastructure resources in Europe are outside of the IPCEI. One of the challenges that we've seen before, we've discussed, is in connection with the AI continent, for instance, is how we, in this search for the right model for building this AI continent, how we set up in Europe some sovereign AI infrastructure that can help our companies develop new products, our users free themselves from the vendor lock-in from hyperscalers when they start using AI. So what's the role of the technologies that we are developing within the IPCEI? What's the role that you expect these technologies to play in helping, for instance, AI factories or the implementation of this AI infrastructure across Europe? How exactly do you see that unfolding? Because that wasn't exactly part of the objectives when we designed the IPCEI cloud several years ago, right? But it's a need that we see in Europe right now. How do you see that happening?
I think that, okay, you mentioned AI factories, but here we need to say something before that. Around IPCEI, we are creating the ecosystem. It's called Aura. I don't know if somebody talked about this today, and Matthias is there, so you can catch him after the meeting, the panel discussion. But in any case, we have to go in two streams, two ways. To build the strong ecosystem, even for the companies that are not in IPCEI. So you mentioned that the majority of the infrastructure is outside. I don't think that it's lost opportunity because we are building that ecosystem, and we can also invite the companies from the member states that are not funding their own companies to come and contribute and participate, not only for the spillover effect, but to have some substantial role in the development. The other thing is how to bring advanced digital technologies, not only AI. We have now HPCs and gigafactories and everything like this. How to integrate all those technologies or infrastructure providers to one federated, distributed. I will not use decentralized because something which goes to the decenter stays there. So which is, if that is distributed, then the data is coming around. How to build that and use the federated approach and have the real commitment for from the companies, not only from SMEs, whose interest would be to have innovative projects promoted through that type of projects, but the large companies who have now very strong systems that are closed, that for example, the standards which they apply do not allow them to be opened. How to come to the solution? Large companies that are not in IPCEI but would be beneficial to open up themselves to give some of the autonomy. We were talking about the autonomy, but this is not the autonomy like integrity of the company, but a part of it to contribute for that integration of that federated infrastructure. This can be the challenge. And also for AI, you are probably familiar with the new IPCEI on AI. We are talking about large learning models, large reasoning models, but also talent engagement, also knowledge sharing, and so on. So AI using a continuum modus, I think that it can be very beneficial for data sharing, but also to get, at the end of the day, that federated hyperscaler of Europe, as I many times say. Yeah, this would be.
Okay.
He's going to disagree this time. I can see it.
No. What I think is that the current IPCEI really creates a first building block where Europe is going to be able to build a big infrastructure on top. And that will take a few years. As you mentioned, when we designed the IPCEI, it was a different world. I mean, that illustrates how quick things can change. So we'll have to see what in 2, 3, 4 years new extra developments will make the current IPCEI even more important. So I think we're building a few building blocks that will create a big infrastructure, but more important, it has created a big ecosystem to also accommodate future needs or future developments much quicker than when we did it for the first time. So it provided us more or less a vehicle for new innovation.
Alberto, I believe you would answer this question better than me, and because you are more into this project on the European level.
But then, I mean, your ministry, for instance, is one of the leading forces behind the Baltic AI Gigafactory, for instance. So there might be.
Yes, it is.
There have to be some synergies.
I think, once again, I will echo what Roger said. We will see. We will see. I hope so that the solutions that are developed under the IPCEI will significantly contribute towards our strategic autonomy in terms of or sovereignty, whatever wording you use for this, regarding this cloud industry. But I also would like to stress another important aspect. We already see in Poland that, and I think this is also true for other member states involved, that this IPCEI SIS initiative made our cloud service providers significantly stronger, that they knew how to use this opportunity, use this money to be much more competitive than they were before this initiative. And I think this also is a strong contributor towards these sovereignty targets, sovereignty ambitions we have, because first of all, the main building block of sovereignty is the strong ecosystem, strong players, and definitely we are stronger than a few years ago.
Great. Well, before I ask
Alberto,
you guys, but
sorry, we have to wrap up.
In order, wrap up.
If not, somebody will lose a flight, perhaps.
Okay, 10 minutes, maybe 5, 10, 1 minute. Okay, so we talk about the how member states are also leading these efforts, and that's something very unique that I think creates a very nice example for future innovation. Industry and member states working together on tangible things. We've talked also about a bit changing we've discussed before the need that we have in Europe to change the mentality in many people, in many companies, as to how to collaborate with each other and develop things together, even if they compete in the market. And then we're also talking about how the IPCEI can work as a central instrument to bring some order, let's say, to future innovation. So to bring some common foundation, some common understanding, some common concepts, some common reference architecture, maybe. Not only for the companies, but also, for instance, thanks to the Commission, to the new Horizon Europe projects in the future. That's in some of the calls, for instance. There is also the expectation that these lower TRL projects will feed and will help and connect with what we're doing in the IPCEI. So we are finally close this cycle between the innovation that's being done in the lower TRLs and what's being used by the industry. So using maybe a common technological baseline. So I think that's the potential we see in the IPCEI. So I will ask for quick comments, quick questions, couple of minutes for comments and questions about, especially for collaboration, and then we'll leave. 1 minute? One question before Nina leaves.
Hi. We've talked a great deal about the benefits of the IPCEI framework, and I just wonder, as you guys start to coordinate with companies, what sort of changes would you like to see to the IPCEI framework to make it more agile and flexible? Because it can take a great deal of time.
Ask the Commission. No, but I have to say that that the collaboration between member states and the Commission is excellent. So we already have the IPCEI, which was confirmed in 4 months. It was Tech for Cure. So the Commission also established one design innovation lab or something. So the communication is very intensive. We are looking for simplifications, particularly for SMEs. We are looking for better collaboration also between the member states and the Commission, and also with the companies, helping the companies to prepare the quality projects so that they can pass even faster. Yeah, thank you.
So maybe for the IPCEI AI, there should be some an AI tool to help Commission assess at least part of the projects they receive. But I think the Commission I think understands well how it is crucial and important to get the projects notified as quickly as possible, because this is technology, and we want to to help our companies to have Europe be more competitive. So the time is crucial, and I think I also have very good experiences with cooperating with the Commission, and I think these are very smart people, and they know what to do to speed up the process for the future IPCEIs.
And this time I fully agree with Dominic.
And see you all in the General Assembly in Rotterdam in March, right?
Yeah, that's maybe one more time. General Assembly, March 2020. Oh, no, sorry, March 20. If you're interested, it will be open soon. So.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And thank you.